Are you wanting to build your own MMO, but you have no idea where to begin? In this series, we'll be going step by step on how to build your own MMO framework from the ground up. So let's get right into it. Hi, I'm James Proctor with the Unity MMO Developers channel, and in today's episode, we'll be doing a quick overview of the series. We'll be doing an introduction to the MMO framework, and I will be showing you the prototype that I've been developing using the framework. So let's get right into Unity 3D. Alright, so here's the MMO framework. It is a component-based system, so what features are available to the player will be determined by what components are attached to the player's character. Some of the components I've already started developing include abilities, communication, combat, crafting, inventory, skills, stats, and a world building component, which allows the player to build their own objects within the game world. So let's jump right into a prototype, and I will take you on a tour of it and show you what's available. So here we are at the login screen. You can type in your username and your password and then log in, or you can click on the register button and you can register a new account. But I've already got an account created, so let's sign into it. Right, login. Now, since I don't have a character already created for this account, it took me directly to the character creation screen. So now, I'm just going to name this character Test. It's going to be a male. And then your faction that you select will determine where you spawn into the game world. So let's just go with the white faction. Then create the character. Here's the character selection screen. You got your character slots where you can select which character you want to use. We'll use Test. And then now we can enter the game world. So now that we're in the game world, we have a very basic character controller so far. We'll be adding on to the character controller and making it more advanced as time goes on. We've got our inventory. If you click on this button, you'll be taken to your personal crafting system where you have all of your undiscovered recipes. When you level up your skills, you will have new recipes that will unlock. They'll be undiscovered when you first begin, and you will have to mix and match resources and try and discover what creates what. And then you got your skills. And you can see what level they are and what they are and stuff. We'll be expanding on this UI quite a bit more as we go. Alright, so this tree over here can be cut down. So let's go towards that tree. This tree right up here is the resource node, which you can interact with and cut down. Now you click on it and then cut down. Now, as you can see from the inventory, it added a bunch of resources. But all that we really care about right now is the wood and the sticks. So now you drag your wood into your crafting, and you can see that one of the recipes turned black instead of red. That means that you can craft it. So now let's craft it, and it's the wooden fence. You can keep on crafting it. And then now we don't have enough resources to continue crafting it, so it turned red. Now let's find another tree to get down. Alright, so we'll cut this tree down. And now I just leveled up my login. So now if you go back to your skills, you can see that I'm now level 1. So now I've got some more wood logs. So now we can add those back to our crafting, and you can see that the fence is now able to be crafted. Let's add the sticks in as well. So now we've got another recipe that's unlocked. So let's craft that, and it's campfire. Alright, so we've got all the basic items that we would need to start a camp. So let's go and find some place where we can build, and let's start building our camp up. You can build any place in the world that you want. There's no restrictions or anything. But I just like to build outside these chains. So let's just find where the trees end, and we'll go ahead and build. Alright, so here's the place that we can build. Alright, so go back into your inventory, and now let's place down our camp. Alright, so there's our campfire. And then now let's place down some of the fences. You can see that they snap together like you would expect them to. Let's go ahead and rotate this one. And then we've got one. Let's rotate that and rotate. So now, using this system, you would be able to allow players to build their own cities, build their own houses, build their own farms, build whatever they wanted to within the world, whatever you wanted to allow them to. This campfire is a crafting station. You can click on it, then it brings up the UI for it. So that's basically what is involved in the MMO framework so far. That's been a very quick tour of it. Now, some of the stuff that we've got in it, we've got a system in place for databases. You will very easily be able to switch out for a MySQL database, SQLite database, NoSQL solution, basically whatever you want for your database. Or you could go with a hybrid system where you've got everything being stored internally in its memory and then being saved out to a MySQL database or equivalent at set intervals. Really, the choice will be yours. In this series, we will probably be going with a MySQL database, But to begin with, we will go with a internal memory storage database. So how the database works, we've got a database helper, and then we've got a number of interfaces that have the methods and stuff that the database will require in order to be used. So then you can create your own classes, and the code within the framework really doesn't care how the stuff is being saved. As long as you've got these interfaces and stuff within your classes, you'll be able to do whatever you need to in order to save it. So like here's a database helper, and then we've got the account database interface, and then we've got our class that we're using for the account database. And then within the framework code itself, you would just call within on server login, you would call the database helper.instance.accounts and then .validate account in this situation, or save account, or whatever it is that you need to get it. So now, if I wanted to switch it out to my SQL database, there would be no need to change this line of code. All that I would have to do is within the database helper, change out the class that's being used for the account database. So it makes it extremely easy. You don't have to remember all these different places that you're making calls to the database. It just automatically does it for you. So that will be extremely helpful if you want to change the database or anything. So that's databases. For authentication, we will be creating our own authentication system. You could use something like PlayFab, or you could use GameSparks or any other third-party authentication system. But for this series, I have decided to go with just creating our own system. At some point in the future, I may talk about how to integrate these other third-party systems, but for right now, we'll just be going with our own. The account system will have all of the stuff that you would expect it to have. You'll be able to ban characters or accounts. You'll be able to suspend accounts. You'll be able to have different permission levels for accounts. For the permission levels, you'll be able to either do it from the account level or the character level. So then the account, you've got the username, you've got the email, the account type. Account type would be guest, player, game master, developer, admin. You have your account ID and you have your password. And then we may expand on this at some point in the future as we continue developing the framework. But for right now, those are what we have for the account. For characters, you have your account ID for the character. You've got your character ID. You've got your character name, your world position, your world rotation. You got a Boolean for whether the character is new or not. That will be used when you first log into the world and determine where you're going to spawn in and everything. You've got your gender, and then you've got your faction. And then again, as we develop this framework, we may add more stuff to this. More than likely, we will add more stuff to this. But for right now, that's what I've got. So every single character, every single NPC item, everything all starts out as a MMO entity. That is the absolute base class that everything inherits from. Then you've got indestructible entity or destructible entity. Destructible entities will be able to have combat and be able to be destroyed. And then indestructible entities would just be like static objects within the game. They might be able to be interacted with, but you will not be able to destroy them at all. Then we've got our resource node system. Um, we've got a custom input system that allows you to select the different items within the game world. And basically it just shoots out a ray and does a ray cast on it. And then it checks to see whether the object being hit is an MMO entity or not, and then if it is, it deals with it accordingly. And so that's the database, that's our input controller. The way that I've decided to deal and chat within the game is it's just going to be local area chat. You'll have a chat bubble that will come up, and you'll also have the little chat box down in the corner where you can see all the messages being sent. But it will just be the local people within your vicinity that you'll be able to see what they're talking about. Personally, I like that kind of system a whole lot better than trying to see what everyone is talking about. And it allows for some pretty cool gameplay mechanics as well. So that's what I decided to go with for that. Combat is still very much a work in progress. And if you join our Discord server, which the link will be in the description below, you will be able to help to design the combat system. In our Thursday series, we will be going over the design, and we will be designing as a community what we want a game to be like, and that will determine exactly how all these different systems and stuff are integrated and created for this framework. So definitely come and join our Discord and help have a say in how things are developed. And then obviously if you have any questions, feel free to ask them within the Discord, and I will gladly answer any of the questions. Alright, so that's the input controller. Mobs have a controller, players have a controller. The player controller will basically have like all the general broad methods and stuff that players will need. I may actually move in the player movement and stuff into the player controller. Right now I've got a separate script for that. I've got this MMO character controller and MMO camera controller, which, like I said, all that stuff is very basic at this point. We will also be doing random world events that will like spawn in new mobs and stuff. Probably at nighttime, different mobs will be spawning. We will be integrating Unistorm and syncing up the Unistorm. We'll be doing a environment manager, which will probably control Unistorm and all the environment related stuff, all the audio and all that stuff. And then obviously we'll be doing the GUI and getting that all squared away. Right now within this project, I've got a separate scene where I do all of my UI development, and then I have another scene where I do my role development. Here's the world UI. And then here's the world development scene. This world right here is a 3x3 grid of 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer terrain. So there's 9 in total. I would like to see about expanding on this world at some point and making it larger, maybe adding some additional islands around or whatever. But again, that will all be discussed in the Discord channel and talked with you guys, and you guys will be able to have a say in how the world develops from here. So I think that's gonna just about wrap up this video. I don't want to make the videos too long. I want to try and keep the videos to about 15 minutes. And so in next week's video, we will go ahead and we'll start creating the network manager. We'll be creating some of the message classes that are needed for registration, login, character creation, character selection, and then we'll get started right in on developing this MMO framework. So if this is the only series that you guys watch, then I will see you next week. If you want to stick around for our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday series, then I will see you in the next video tomorrow, which will be all about basic C# for beginners. And then Wednesday will be Unity Basics. On Thursdays will be Game Design 101. And then on Fridays we will be prototyping a MMO using the MMORPG framework. So I hope you guys have a great night. I hope you can get something out of this series and are as excited about this series as I am. And I will see you in the next video.